Hello, this is Linda of Christ is King Forever. So below I'm going to put a video by Todd Friel, Pastor Todd Friel, and he basically is talking about the Southern Baptist Convention where they're voting against a law that would change the rules or the title of pastor to involve like an adjective before, so that you could say somebody is a women's ministry, a pastor. You could say they're a children's ministry, pastor, which is really weird because you could put leader, you could put any other word, which is always a play that people like to mess with. They could use, there's so many other words that could fill in this gap, but they love that word pastor. And the reason why they need that and they want women to get close to that and to be having some title involving that word is because they're trying to give you the okey doke. There's eventually, a few years down the road, you're going to have women who don't have anything before that title. It will simply be, you know, she's just a pastor, right? And that's a no. You can see that men are made to be protective, they're made to be providers. Women are made to be inclusive, not, you know, offensive, but defensive in protection. They love to pull in people who feel sad, marginalized. This is why whenever you have women who are playing that role with that title, which is it's just a role they're playing, it's a caricature. It's not a real thing they're doing. It's a little bit like a woman who's a father. Yeah, I also want the title father too. If you could just put, you know, fluffy, kind, gentle father, you know, a mother father role. You'll be like, no, that doesn't work. What are you doing? Same thing. They're playing a role. It's not real. And those churches fall. And it goes the way of the dodo bird. Which, this is my argument. Maybe it should. This is a really great time to discover who the real ones are. This is a great time, just like pulling in some Darwinian type nonsense. You know, let the strongest survive. I don't like it for the families who develop relationships and connections and stuff. I'm sad for them that would happen. But if you think that this vote, and the fact it keeps getting closer and closer and closer every year, it's just a matter of time. It's just a question of when. You should just start getting yourself ready if you're part of this organization here, because he wants to protect it. Because Todd Friel, because respectfully, he's probably a Baptist or something. I don't honestly know what he is, but he's not Catholic or Orthodox. He's trying to protect it because he's afraid it's going to take down the whole ship. My argument is it should. Find yourself a Catholic church, maybe not Roman Catholic so much, but a Catholic church, and an Orthodox church, a Greek Orthodox church, whatever, because that's the way. I believe the Orthodox church is the way. But the way I know it's true is because this won't be applied to my church. No woman will be in charge of my church ever, because that's the rule. And there's not even a vote. And the fact it's even a question is very bizarre. And I really like to see the reverse of our history starting to happen, where we created these branches of churches that are probably always been fake. Now their fruits are showing. They're just fake. So it's like, let the fruit show. They've always been fake. They've never been following God. They've never been about the business. And now that things are getting hard, the truth is being revealed. And that's what happens. You know, just like when God allowed Pharaoh's heart to be hardened. When you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice. When you squeeze a Baptist, clearly what you get is colorful flags and women pastors. That's what you get. You don't get anything else. And they're struggling. They're wrestling with this. It's amazing. It's not something that even should be a question. In my church, it's not a question. We all know a man is only in charge. A man has, you know, the leadership, which is all men. If the quickest way to destroy, just like he does a list of, you know, this church went the way of the dodo bird once women stepped in that role, blah, blah, blah. It's like, good. Maybe that's what they should do. Maybe churches that even have something like this up for question, maybe they shouldn't exist anymore. Maybe they should go the way of the dodo bird. And I know it seems kind of rough, but what you need to do is go find yourself a Catholic church, which is everywhere. And go find yourself an Orthodox church. I would prefer Orthodox, in my opinion, just be honest. And the closest one near you, find one that's live on TV and try to find a way to get fellowship through however way you can. Leave these churches alone. The fact that there's so many people that even are participating in this is very frightening to me. I know he's got hope and he's being a cheerleader, and I appreciate that. I think that's actually a really good edge. I'm going to be honest. So much negativity. I'm not being negative either. I'm just saying this is a transition period. I'm just saying, you see the ship is sinking, stop bailing water, get out and go to orthodoxy. This is my argument, all right? And that's only because I think that's an honest thing. You're not going to say, "Hey, stay in that boat and keep bailing harder." You're going to say, "You know what? There's a cruise ship right over here. It's been here for 2,000 years. Why don't you just get on that? That's been not just floating but cutting ice for 2,000 years. That's been going through real tough stuff. Get off that little rickety boat that you got there and get on something real." I can't even believe this is a question. It's ridiculous. And this is coming from a woman who has no authority, nor do I want any. This doesn't weight, my weight of what I have to say in my opinion means nothing. And I'm cool with that. As a matter of fact, I sit very comfortably in the fact that what I have to say doesn't matter. I like that. But the idea, because it is about women, I feel like it does matter in that sense, where women kind of need to check each other and need to look at each other and say, guess what you're never going to be. That's part of the obedience of bowing before God, is where he says there are things you're not going to be. There are things you're not going to be allowed to do. And you just have to obey that. And finding comfort, finding a type of reverence that you sit comfortably in while you're being obedient, understanding the law, obeying the law, understanding your lot, which honors God, to be honest with what we're supposed to be doing, what our rules really are. It's not a bad thing. So that's why I'm saying something, because I really do think that there may be women who are offended, or maybe women who think that that's a role that should be played. It's nonsense. It's not true. And we need to, as women, need to speak up and say to each other, don't we know that that's not right? Don't you know, if you're a Christian woman, you're not supposed to play that role? You do know that, right? And so this isn't really a video for men to hear as much as it is for another woman to say, okay, yeah, let's just come into agreement that if churches are fighting for such a thing, they're wrong. And they probably shouldn't be around much longer. And I'm sad for the families. I'm glad that Todd Friel is such a kind soul to want to keep this afloat. Good for him. I don't know. He's giving life jackets or something. I have no idea what he's doing. But it's like, that's not okay. That's an environment that might be fostering things that are unhealthy for children and families. It makes me frightened for families that's even a question. That's spiritually a very toxic. The pH that's happening there isn't good. It means there's already something brewing under the surface that has rainbow flags available, that has people chattering about where they think their role should be, and that's really strange. It's like the dark underbelly of what I didn't know really existed. I didn't think this was a thing that was actually happening, so I'm kind of shocked by this, to be honest. But the Methodist Church went that way. It's a creepy thing to be under a woman pastor. It's extremely disgusting. Well, anyway, this is Linda of Christ is King Forever, somebody who doesn't look to play any kind of role like that, but I think that women need to look at each other and say, knock it off. That's not our role. May God be with you.